everyone, Karen Finnan here, physiotherapist and director of Online Physio. Now today I wanted to share with you a case study. I know there are a lot of you out there that haven't been through our online physiotherapy consultation process and you're curious. And so I thought I would go through a few case studies from time to time of people who've used our service, how we've been able to help them and the types of things that they came to us with. Now, of course, in any case study, we've changed names, we've changed identifying characteristics and features, obviously for privacy reasons, but you'll get the essence of the story and the example of the use of our online consultations. So today I wanted to share with you the story of Gus. So Gus, he's a 34-year-old website developer. And at the time when he contacted us, he was based in Canada, but he was moving back to his hometown of England. But on the way, he was spending a few months traveling, including doing some hiking. He was looking to do a hike to base camp in Nepal, among a few other shorter hikes as well. And so he, in preparation for his trip and getting fit for his hiking, had been starting to go on a few runs and had developed some quite nasty knee pain. He hadn't been all that active beforehand. And so getting into these runs, he was suddenly very motivated and he developed this knee pain. And he knew that if he started to get treatment, that he needed that treatment to move with him as he traveled to get him ready for this hike. And so he found us online and he got in touch with us. So the first thing that Gus did was start to fill out our assessment form, and he was able to do this in the middle of the night, obviously in a different time zone. What this special form does that I've developed is uses the answers from questions previously to shape the next questions to ensure that we collect all the information that we need to start to know what is going on with the injury and therefore what step we're going to take next in terms of assessing. So Gus was able to answer how his knee pain had started, what his plans were, the type of pain level he was getting, the functional things that he may have been limited in, to also give us his background about what profession that he does and all of that sort of stuff. Now, this is all what would normally be asked face-to-face in a consultation, in a question session back and forth. So we've simply transferred that process online. Now, after he'd sent that form through, I obviously then receive it to my inbox and I was able to have a look through with my physio brain and see, first of all, what I immediately suspected may have been going on with his knee, but also where the holes were. So I know immediately what questions that I need to ask to fill in the blanks for me so that I have a well-rounded picture of the injury. So I was then able to send Gus back some extra questions, but also some assessment tasks to do. So some movements, some stretch positions. I wanted to test his knee in a few different ways. Now, of course, we do that safely with warnings and all sorts of safety mechanisms in place so that people aren't doing anything they're unsafe doing. But Gus was able to take himself through this series of tests, and one of the really important things that I asked him was, please take a photo with your fingers right on that tender spot, because I knew that the exact location of the pain would be very telling for what structure was involved. So he did that and sent those items through. So from that, I was able to confirm my suspicions from the first round of questions and indeed arrive on the fact that Gus was having issues with the kneecap joint, with the patellofemoral joint in his knee, and therefore I was already formulating a plan of what we could do to get him better. Now, our next step then was a video call. And that was really a great way to sort of get to know Gus, to see if he had any more questions, to see if there was any more information we needed, and certainly to educate him on what was going on with his knee and what was happening now in terms of his rehabilitation. Now, because we'd gone through the subjective questions, because we'd gone through the physical tests already, through the forms, through the other digital means, our video call is able to be shorter and it isn't as challenging in terms of moving the camera around and trying to do tests in front of it and all of that sort of stuff. So this is a process that we've developed over time. If we've done a lot of the heavy lifting, by the time we get to the call, it's a lot easier to just sit, get to know each other, work out what the next steps are. So that's exactly what we did. I was able to then, after the call, send an exercise program through to Gus on an app called PhysiTrack, which shows him videos of the exercises, suggested reps. It gives him room to write in comments if he's had issues with those exercises, and I'll get these comments immediately. And PhysiTrack also contains a secure messaging system. So I said to Gus, from this point forward, communicate with me directly through the app. It's a secure messaging system. It looks a bit like Messenger on Facebook or you know, a messaging app. And as he had launched off on his travels, we were able to continue to communicate to progress his exercise program to the point where he was training up with a pack, getting that loaded up. And of course, the happy ending to this story is that Gus did, of course, do that hike, the base camp hike in Nepal, and was probably last seen tucking into a hearty meal in Kathmandu somewhere. So that was a really great outcome for him. I hope you found that really interesting. There's obviously all sorts of people that come our way for these online consultations, and often the common denominator is travel, moving around, or of course being quite far from normal traditional care. So we'll see you next time. If you've got any questions or comments, do always feel free to let us know. And yeah, we look forward to chatting to you again soon. Bye.